Hello, and welcome. It's your boy, Mason Madden, one half of the MXM collection and the height of fashion, and you are watching the Anime Egotists. Now touch my tip.
What's bonkin', guys, and welcome back to the Anime Egotists. My name's Alex, and I'm not joined by somebody who's usually on here. I'm joined, but somebody who pops up every now and then when I need a hand. A host of a podcast that discusses art, voice acting, other creative interests, who will never support AI art unless it's like Allen Iverson doing art, which I would actually kind of want to see. But it is It is Nathan Ragland from the PostModern Art Podcast. Buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful now that I'm getting the opportunity to pop on here and have a good fun time with you like we always tend to do. Though I have to ask, what's bonkin'? Is that the new intro that you're teasing out or whatnot?
Yeah, teasing. I've been doing. The past few episodes I've been doing it. I even did one of the shorter videos I did, and no one said, "Wow, this is awful" yet.
For me, I'm just like, it's a choice. It is certainly a choice.
I was running out of other intros where I say, and welcome back, I'm like, I'm kind of starting to reuse a couple of these. Let's just stick with what's bonkin' for now.
Yeah, let's stick with what's bonkin'. But regardless, thank you for the wonderful introduction. For the people at home that don't know, based off of what Alex was saying, my name is Nathan Ragland. You can also call me Post. I am host of the PostModern Art Podcast, the podcast dedicated to giving artists who are wowing the world over the platform they deserve. And honestly, yeah, I agree with the whole entire AI thing. If Allen Iverson started doing art, I would want him in the podcast, like, first chance I get, like, just talking about this stuff, because that would be entertaining.
Yes, and speaking of entertaining, the Pokemon movies are generally pretty entertaining, aren't they?
Yeah, I haven't seen every single Pokemon movie, but the Pokemon movies I do see or whatnot, I've always enjoyed them, no matter what.
Yeah, and the last time we were here, we talked about Pokemon Forever, and it wasn't really my favorite, if I'm going to be honest. So we moved on to the next one, Pokémon Heroes, and I wanted to get Nathan on one because nobody else was around. Dude, take this as you will. I love you, but like I was also kind of like, no one else is here.
Wow. Okay, I see how it is. Well, to be fair, you had asked me, hey, have you seen any of the Pokemon movies? And I listed them out, and one of them was Heroes, and you're like, wow, okay. I need to do a video on that.
Yeah, and it's also a thing because, to get into a bit about Pokemon Heroes, I've seen it multiple times, and every time I watch it, my opinion shifted. First time I saw it, I was like, oh, this is a pretty good movie. Second time I saw it, I was like, wow, I don't like this movie at all. And the third time I saw it, I was like, oh my god, this is one of the best movies ever. So, watching it again, this is going to be a tough one to talk about.
That's fair. I mean, there's certainly, especially as I've gotten older, because this was one of those movies. See, I grew up in the age of VHS that eventually turned into DVDs and such. And this was one of the DVDs I remember my mom getting for me. So every time I would go over to her place, this would be one of the ones that I would constantly play. It's that, as well as a few other Pokemon movies, like Shrek or, classic, animation more than anything else.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what we're here to talk about. Just bear with us, guys, because this is one of the more maybe controversial movies? I don't know anymore. But anyways, shall we begin?
We shall. How would you like to get this thing going?
Oh, it starts off with how it usually starts, with Brock introducing the Pokemon world and narrating everything. Hey, he talks about Ash, the pride of Pallet Town, considering there's like one other trainer in Pallet Town we know about. The bar's not exactly high, but what do you know?
You're not exactly, shooting for the stars. Like, this isn't the Alabama Crimson Tide of Pokemon trainer towns more than anything else,
No, it is not. And Ash, Misty, and yours truly, Brock. And then we get two girls reading a book about Latios and Latias.
I appreciate that even in animation and in Pokemon film, they want to emphasize that we need to go back to the classic books if you want to get the proper knowledge that you need to take over the world.
To be fair, in a few years, books will probably be outdated with ChatGPT. So, yeah, in a sense, I appreciate it. I'm not saying that as I'm happy about it. I'm saying it as,
No, I know. You're saying it because it's true, and I hate how true you unfortunately are.
Yeah, and as they get caught, they leave behind their card. I will never understand why thieves decide, hey, we're going to advertise who we are, because it's like, yeah, officer, it's them right over here.
Yeah, I understand the appeal of it from the thieves end of being like, ha ha ha, you just got by, us, the thieves that you'll never catch, even though you'll know absolutely everything about. Meanwhile, like for the people that are the victims of the crime at the end of the day, you're just like, it's them. Get them. Get them now.
Yeesh, at least the Phantom Thieves can disguise themselves for the most part. But as they escape, they jump in their car, which turns into a jet. Which, okay, yeah, cool. I've seen a guy run around in the Blue Eyes White Dragon jet. This is less impractical. This is less impractical.
Yeah, I mean, given given how unique and fantastic that the Pokemon world is, honestly, this is probably one of the more interesting elements of Pokemon more than anything else. The fact that you have technology that changes from one vehicle to another, instead of, I don't know, the thieves trying to get Pokemon potentially capturing Pokemon that could help them fly through the sky, and people will probably be like, "Oh yeah, no, it's a Pokemon. That's cool."
Yeah, but they're also talking about a jewel called the Soul Dew, which has the spirit of Latios, and they work for Giovanni. Which, yeah, you kind of forget that Team Rocket can actually be pretty competent when it's not Jesse James and to a lesser extent Butch and Cassidy running around.
Yeah, exactly. Like you'd be surprised that for as notorious as Jesse and James kind of made the organization with like, being incompetent idiots that we all love because of how silly they are, there are actually some legitimate people in there that could probably get the job done if given the opportunity.
Yeah, and you like us talking about Jesse and James? Good, because they're not in this movie very much. So
Thank
yeah,
God you mentioned it now. I'll probably talk about it more later, but that's probably one of the biggest crimes of this film more than anything else.
yeah. But the twerps are in this place are in this race called the Tour de Alamar, where water Pokemon only race. A little bit speciesist, but all right. Hey, and Ash and Misty are racing through, and the Pokemon Master Quest theme starts blasting as they're riding through.
Oh, is that what the theme is? Okay.
Yeah. And I said before, like when I was a kid, I got sick of this opening because it felt like the only opening that I would ever play as a kid. And I would like to go back in time and hug little kid me and then slap him across the face because I was singing this song the second it started playing.
It was a good song. As someone that has watched like movies but not much of the series itself or whatnot, like I was instantly in there when that music came on. It was something like almost magical and like really epic about it. So like I really appreciated that being the choice.
Yeah. Yeah. And Brock gets to stand behind a woman that he's flirting with, and then she runs off, and then the old woman gets replaced by her, but she seemed weirdly into Brock. So sometimes you have to take the wins where you can get them.
Look, it's not for me, but I'm gonna say Granny can get it. I'm sure there's some people that'd be down for that.
This I knew I should have called the monkey instead.
I did want to at least emphasize one quick thing before we
Please.
move on. I love what's really interesting is as we see like the race happening or whatnot. I love how we there's like the different camera angles or whatnot, which leads me to also wonder who in the world, like, are they attaching cameras to Pokemon in order to get like the epic angles more than anything else as like the race is going on? Because there's some really good shots that these cameras got that I don't even think you would get in like an NFL game or a race, just a race in general.
This city has nothing else. It's just the Latios Latias thing and racing every now and then. It doesn't have a whole lot going for it.
Well, I mean, it certainly helps when it has that kind of saying, certain fact that the city itself is based off of Venice in Italy, which I gotta say is a really good choice by the people that made this film or whatnot, having that be like the basis for this city, because like it's great for like the nice little close area. An emphasis when it comes to like water types and such, which obviously the water for the streets and such, and like especially for a scene we'll definitely talk about later, a lot of beautiful elements that go into it.
Yeah, I don't know, but this a little too much water.
7 out of 10.
Yeah, yeah, this made me sad because during the race, Team Rocket are eating a meal and they're enjoying themselves, and they never get to eat. They starve a lot, and then the water
Exactly.
splashes their food. I was like they exist in this movie just to suffer.
They do, which is so sad. I mean, did you see the plate of like basically spaghetti and meatballs or whatever,
Yeah, yeah,
that is, or probably Toro meatballs or whatnot? Like it looked absolutely incredible. And then
yeah.
and then Ash has to go and ruin it. Way to go,
Well, I've
Ash
said it
being the
before and I'll say it again. I
antagonist.
don't. Let's not act like Ash is the good guy.
I was gonna say Ash being the antagonist of this film, just saying right off the bat.
Yeah, he's not invited to any cookout I'm hosting.
like he was in the first place.
No. Oh, but we also see a Whalmer, and I'm like, oh, cool, a Gen 3 Pokemon, which makes sense because Latios and Latias. But I still thought it was cool. But Ash
Yeah,
gets dragged away from the race thanks to an invisible Pokemon, and Misty's Corsola wins.
by a, I guess, a coral at
Or
this
by a
point.
horn.
Yes, by a horn, which I have to admit, like as cool as that was, that visual or whatnot, I feel like there needs to be like some more like regulation about like appendages coming out of the Pokemon itself instead of, the main body of the Pokemon.
I'm taking my Whale Lord. It's like, yeah, sure. And the race starts, and you win. You didn't even have to move.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and the guy who lost to Misty, his name is Ross, and he takes them on a gondola ride. He seemed far more interested in giving Misty a gondola ride than the rest of them, but I get Ash and Brock are collateral at this point.
Yeah, plus let's be honest with how many times that like Brock has tried to do the same thing with other women in the universe, like the fact that someone's actually treating Misty halfway decently or whatnot with just a simple gondola ride. You know what? I think we'll take it. I think
Yeah,
we'll take it.
yeah. You happy with Misty riding that ways? Good, because she doesn't do much else throughout the rest of the movie.
Right, right. The only thing that we kind of get from Misty more than anything else is after the gondola ride starts or whatnot, we get to see her holding the medal that she wins for the race itself, which is this gorgeous like glass medal that kind of tells the story of the town.
That's right, because Latios and Latias are the guardians of the city. There are even giant statues that look over the town.
Which I have to ask right off the bat, how in the world did they erect those statues? Because especially with how tall they are and like how somewhat detailed they are at the top or whatnot, like and the fact that it's surrounded by water, there has to be like some Pokemon, action going on right there to make that reality.
Oh no, people have fallen and landed in the water and they have gotten swept off. They don't talk about it.
You know what? That's lore accurate. Anyways,
Yeah, and we see the spies from before, Annie and Oakley, both are watching over with cameras. No, once again, no one seems to notice the cameras, but it's okay.
can
And we
can
see,
can, can I just emphasize one quick thing when it comes to those cameras? I appreciate the fact that again, with this being set in Venice, Italy, or whatnot, they went all in with the Italy reference because if you notice, like the little horn with like the spiral or whatnot is exactly the design of Leonardo da Vinci's like drawings when it came to like the first helicopter, what he thought how a helicopter would work more than anything else with like the spiral cone more than anything else. I love that they're so invested in this job that they made sure to get equipment that works specifically for the location.
or is somebody and if somebody selling them spy equipment from Altam. Does Team Rocket have a base in Italy? This raises too many questions.
Way too many questions for a film that's like 75 minutes.
Yeah. It's not. Anyways, Team Rock. We also see Team Rocket with their ice cream. It gets ruined. Okay.
Of
Hey,
course.
and and we see a girl helping Pikachu get water, and she's very interested in Ash and Pikachu.
I was gonna say she also looks very interesting. I can't quite put my finger. I think it's the hair. I think the hair is a dead giveaway that this is not just an average, ordinary girl that we're gonna be meeting in this conversation in this story.
Yeah, but throughout she's also getting attacked by Annie and Oakley because they can tell with their special gear. Hey, this is a Latias that's transformed into a human. They
Yeah,
send
again,
out Ariados and Espeon, and Ash help defends her.
also credit to Annie and Oakley for, if nothing else, making sure that even though they're doing a job, they look good doing it.
Yeah, well, they're roommates. They had to look good for each other.
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely.
Roommates. That's what it is.
Oh my God, they were roommates.
And that said, Ash runs off helping Latias, and they start talking about the defense mechanism in the museum, and they're like, oh, it defends. And they talk about how there was an Aerodactyl and a Kabutops that once attacked the innocent people of the town, and that a Latios saved everybody by drowning the Pokemon. That's a little bit. You couldn't just say, "Hey, stop your evil ways," or no, just drowning.
Well, look, from what the random old man that approaches them to tell them this kind of story or whatnot tells them about this situation more than anything else, it's the fact that like these Pokemon that we see the fossils of in the floor more than anything else, which is a very unique choice. Like, hey, the evil Pokemon that attacked this town, we've preserved them and put them in our floor for everyone to see more than anything else. But like they were trained by evil trainers, so it's kind of they were trained by evil trainers, so that their headspace was not exactly in the best way of going up to them and tell them, "Hey, you go." I don't think they would listen that well.
True, but I would stop like I would like put them in like prison, like there are jails specifically for Pokemon. Not to mention, how are you drowning a Kabutops? It's a water type.
Well, also, yeah, keep in mind the location itself and probably how long ago this story happened. For all we know, there might not have been jails for Pokemon at that point.
I think it's just to say. I think this old man is just off his rocker. I saw you saw that you saw his eyes, those unblinking, unwavering eyes. I think half of this stuff is just on him. They're just like, okay,
Yeah, but
we'll play along.
and besides, what old man runs up to a random group of kids and be like, "Hey, let me tell you the history of our town."
They haven't seen new people in like 15 years, man. It's
Right.
been the same. It's been
Yeah.
the same people. No one lit. No one dies in that town or anything, except the Pokemon apparently. But
Yeah. I mean, we have proof of it in the floors.
yeah, but it's also kind of interesting because they talk about, oh, we flooded our town with water and everything got better. I'm like, oh, so Archie in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald had a point. He just went about
I,
it the wrong way.
I mean, I think because this, you bring up a very strong point, and I hate how strong your point
Every now
is.
and then it happens.
Can we also just take a second to admire, obviously, as an art person, I'm gonna take the time to admire that, like, even though this is meant for the defense mechanism or whatnot, it's meant to obviously save the town more than anything else. The architecture of it looks absolutely stunning because I'm sure you've seen, other places using like defense mechanisms or whatnot. Their first ideal is not, make it look stunning or more than anything else. Just kind of one of those, if it works, it works. With this one, they made sure it works and look good doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe deep down, Annie and Oakley decides like, hey, it's an inside job. I'm like, that makes no sense. But you know what? Screw it. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who, for all we know, maybe Andy and Oakley are somehow descendants of this town as well.
We'll talk about we'll hit back on that. Hold on to that thought. But during their trip, Ash looks up and sees the girl from before, presumably the Latias, and he decides to run after her, screaming. Yeah, it's a good thing there aren't police in this town because this would be a giant no-no.
Well, if there were police in this town, I'm pretty sure this film would be a lot shorter.
Yeah,
But
probably. And then he runs up and is like, "Hey, why were you running away earlier?" And she's like, "I don't know you." The way she said it gave me so much. She said it with like, "I do not want to talk to you. No, I'm trying to go home, man."
no, trust me, that delivery more than anything else. Shout out to the voice actor who kind of understood the assignment of just straight being like, this isn't just like, this random stranger is following you and is saying, "Hey, why did you run away from me?" And being like, bitch, I don't know you."
I'm like, oh, they changed Ash Ketchum so much throughout the years that no one's able to recognize him. That's both sad and a little poetic at the same time.
In a way, in a cosmic sort of way, he is.
Yeah, yeah. But he finds Latias, and Latias is like, "Hey, follow me." And they walk through a portal together because
Because Pokemon.
they do the same thing in Legend ZA for one specific level. Oh, right around the time you think to yourself, "Hey, how do we get rid of this water?" And you can suggest drinking all of the water to get away with it, and somebody almost does it because you suggest it.
I mean, stay hydrated is definitely a thing, but that's not that I like that's not no, that's not viable, people.
No, I do appreciate how the games decide you can be an idiot if you want to be, and it makes it fun.
There you go. Sometimes when you play a video game like that, you just want to be stupid.
Yeah, yeah. But they go find a giant park, and Latias is hanging on a swing. Simply flies through and heads butt Pikachu a couple of different times, and
Yep.
Latias is like, "No, no, they're cool. They're seriously, they helped me out."
Also, I again, as someone that needs to take a step back and just admire because I teased it before, whatnot. Can we talk about how gorgeous this park area is more than anything
Yeah,
else?
this was
Like
nice.
it was such a beautiful and serene environment, especially with like the little wind chime, wind turners or whatnot that they had there, and just like the nice calming flow of the water and such. Like if it was possible, if it was possible, I would either love to live there or at least rent an Airbnb in that area. But obviously, for reasons that we're going to talk about in a second, I don't think that would even be remotely possible.
Yeah, and Bianca, the girl before Bianca shows up and she just says, "Oh, hey, sorry for almost hitting you." I'm just like, huh. Why do I feel like this woman has had to fight people off before at some point?
Well, I mean, judging by the fact of Latias as we see more like just being very playful and seem to be very friendly or whatnot. Unfortunately, Bianca has to be that one friend that is just like, all right, come on, you get over here, get over here. We gotta
Well,
stay away from the
Latias
people.
drops Ash at one point, so I can't even fully disagree with you there. What they're flying.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's one of those like it's like when you get it's like when you go to a dog park and there's a dog that comes right up to you with like a toy and like instantly wants to play with you even though they've never met you beforehand or whatnot, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and you've talked about the visuals, but I want to talk about the music. The music is really nice. Like I
Oh
love
my
a lot of the
God.
music that plays, and I was actively listening to it, or at least trying to, because Latios and Latias would not shut up during that scene. I'm
Oh
just like,
my
I'm trying my
God.
hard. Look, I understand these Pokemon are supposed to be communicating with each other, but they're also psychic. So telepathy isn't completely out of the realm of possibility. So politely, can you both shut up, please? I'm trying to listen to the music.
I think it wouldn't be as bad if they did not give Latios and Latias like just basically like very subtle screeches for like their noises going back and forth to each other. Because
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
you're trying
yeah.
to enjoy it, just get and it's like like I appreciate y'all. You guys are really cool, but like maybe a little deeper or like a different note in general. Like, come on.
Yeah, and this is not us jumping on the voice actors. They're doing their job. It's just
They're
a
doing
case of
their
it's like
job.
maybe a different direction.
It was a creative choice that probably should have been thought about for more than 2 seconds.
Yeah, this is kind of where I kind of want to talk about a flaw I've had. So, like we've been
Okay.
having fun, but I'm a little bothered by this.
Okay.
It's always Ash. Ash is
Yes.
always the person who gets this stuff to do. It's Misty's last movie, and she's barely in it. Team Rocket,
Oh,
barely in it. Brock, well, he's in several movies after this, but is he really in any of them? But
right.
yes, I know he's the main character, but there's no real. We're gonna talk more about why Ash was chosen for it, but as much as I love the guy, I'm kind of like, can we give some script? Can other people at least be involved?
Like I was gonna talk about this more, especially when we talk about later segments or whatnot, with like later, sequences or whatnot. But like, look, I get it. Ash is more or less like the chosen one of the series in general, or whatnot. But at the same time, like Ash would not be the person that he was without his friends. And like, as much as I appreciate, like, obviously the dynamic between him meeting the Pokemon and such, and you know, the villain's interaction with Ash or whatnot. I would have loved to see like Misty be a little more confrontational and sassy back. In fact, and Brock as well, like being more confrontational because all we get from Misty is just like general generic, hey Pokemon Go or hey Pokemon stuff, and Brock being the one note thing of being like hey pretty girl ha ha ha, which is par for the course, but also like you've talked about several times where Brock has been a lot more than just ha ha pretty girl.
Yeah, not to mention now. Of course, I'm not going to jump on them for this because it's not like they would know. Several years down the line, where they redo Ash's story in movies, it's still Ash. There's like Misty and Brock appear in the credits, and so do the rest of the gang. But like, not much else. No.
Yeah. Jesus,
And
like I yeah, yeah.
okay, so yeah, they start hanging out. The song's really nice. And Latia and they can both project visions apparently.
Yeah, Latios just randomly just like decides to dive into the water and just run away, to which I'm like, oh, okay, I expect Latios to follow afterwards. And then all of a sudden, Latios's eyes light up, Latias's eyes light up, and everyone that is there, which is, Ash, Pikachu, Bianca, and the random, which we forgot to mention, the old man is there again. Yeah, just randomly part of the
They didn't say his
thing.
name for a good chunk, and I legit because the second they said, "Oh, Mr. Lorenzo," I'm like, "Oh, he does have a name." Okay.
Yeah, he has a name. But like they're all there and they have like the astral spirit projection thing, which again looks great. I will say, I love that little like moment of just like, hey, you're actually connected like with the Pokemon like you've probably never had before. Like obviously the closest you get to is the fact that you and Pikachu are basically like this more than anything else, like close one and one. But like you've never seen anything through Pikachu's eyes before. You know,
Yeah.
so like to have that little bit of experience that makes it a truly special like Pokemon moment.
Yeah, and they address how the current Latios had a father being another Latios, and it's the
Hmm.
one who saved the town, but it died doing so, and it was incredibly powerful. It's a really cool moment.
Yeah.
Bianca decides to take Ash back to his friends, who I guess he now remembers are in the movie. He and the Team Rocket duo of Annie and Oakley get followed by the Team Rocket trio, and it doesn't work because they fall off the
Well,
roof.
well, I was gonna say, hold on. We forgot to also emphasize the fact that the reason why Annie and Oakley are going to the specific locations because even though this place, Lorenzo made sure to emphasize that in this place, hey, we need to keep it sacred because we have the soul dew in the pond, like in the middle of the thing right here. And like this is the thing that makes sure that like our town does not get destroyed more than anything else. And that's why we need to keep this place private. Random stranger who happened to follow Latias in here more than anything else. But then apparently Annie and Oakley were tailing Ash and were able to get their, Leonardo da Vinci, helicopter camera in there and know everything about this place. So that's why we get, Ash eventually after he gets back with his friends or whatnot, Annie and Oakley making the journey along the rooftops, which Team Rocket notices, and they're like, "Oh wait, no, they're Team Rocket. Maybe if we're involved with them, we can make ourselves look good in this one." And I this is like the one moment where I will say this is probably the funniest moment of the film for me at the end of the day because it's like Andy and Oakley are just looking smooth as ever. Meanwhile, you got Jesse, James, and Meowth just stumbling like usual, going parkour, parkour before stumbling onto the light, and then Jesse, James, Meowth, whoo, wow about that death.
They don't even finish the blasting off line. They just fall, and I'm like, no,
Team Rocket split.
I'm like, you know what? They've survived for us. They'll be fine. They'll be okay.
Yeah. And like I said, that was unfortunately the funniest part of this film. Like, that's why I was like, can we not get like, I would have loved to see them like rebound from that and find a way to get to like the museum later on. I'm spoiling a little bit, but like try a way to get more involved with Annie and Oakley and somehow find a way to butcher up the ending a little bit more or like cause the chaos that happens.
Yeah, because the old man gets attacked by the Espeon, and
Which,
and Latios kind of sacrifices itself and gets kidnapped.
which can I say? I'm pretty sure you can correct me if I'm wrong. This is probably the movie that made Espio or Espeon look like the strongest Eevee for like a hot second, more than anything
Yeah.
else.
Oh, yeah, but we're gonna get into a point where well, actually, right now, because yeah, oh yeah, so like Latios and Latias kind of suck in this movie.
Oh, they do straight
Okay,
up,
so
like
let me see if
absolutely.
I get this straight. Mewtwo can somehow create clones of Pokemon and have
Hmm.
them destroy people, and was partially responsible for killing Ash. Ash.
Right.
Yes. Entei had a great fight with Charizard in the third movie, almost killed Charizard if Molly didn't step in. And Celebi, for as much as I did not like Celebi, can travel through time.
Yeah.
Latios and Latias just sort of violently nudge you.
Yeah. They violently nudge you, and they kind of they can. They're more of a defense type than they are an attack type. I have noticed
Yeah,
more than anything else.
when I was a kid, Latios and Latias were my favorite legendaries, and I'm kind of like, oh, little kid me, get started on therapy a little bit earlier because you're gonna need it.
Damn, don't have to get so brutal on yourself
No,
like that.
like this illegitimate. And the worst part is there are times later where they show powerful attack. That's like
Yeah.
light emanating, and they're able to block and destroy stuff. So why didn't they do that earlier? Just look. If you're a
Like
defensive lineman, then maybe that tackling can help. But not, no, it
no,
legit
no, no, no,
frustrated
no.
me.
No, I'm right there with you. It's one of those like they like especially in this movie, like Lorenzo and Bianca, like they're hyping up these Pokemon. It's like this is the reason why our city is even here in the first place. Without these Pokemon or whatnot, we would be off the face of the earth. I wouldn't be talking to you right now. And yet all you do is meet an Espeon and an Arctic, was it Arctic, what's the spider Pokemon name?
Ariados.
Ariados. And you're easily able to, at least one of you is able to be easily captured like it's nothing because Annie and Oakley happen to have like a sticky ball or whatever the hell that was that they used to grab them.
Just make Master Balls. It's not that hard. You get to keep the Pokemon when you're done. Yeah.
I mean, but also they are bounty hunters for Team Rocket, so they're trying to make sure that they get the Pokemon so that they can give it to Giovanni, not capture the Pokemon to make it their own.
Yeah, but if you have the master, but if I catch a legendary in a Master Ball and go like, "Here, man, happy birthday," and I give it to you, it's probably going to listen to you. It'll probably understand, "Hey, I'm a gift for somebody."
Yeah. Point there. I'll give you that one.
Yeah. But they also say that if the defense mechanism is activated, it will suck up all the water. And Annie and Oakley's like, "Oh yeah, that's probably just a myth." I'm like, "Yeah." When are the legendary Pokemon stuff ever a myth in these movies?
The only time they're ever a myth is before the Pokemon ever appears. But in this one, you clearly see that the Pokemon is right there in front of you. You have it captured, ready to go to do your job. And yet you're looking at this giant, collage of like stone tablets that tell you everything you need to know about what's about to happen if you use this thing. And you're like, nah, they're probably just using this just to scare off the tourists more than anything else. What tourists more than anything else?
Yeah. So Latias runs off and find Ash and everybody, and they realize, oh, this girl is actually a Latias, and Latias shows the visions. Meanwhile, Annie and Oakley get into the machine, steal the Soul Dew, and they're just they're what are they trying to do?
Well, okay. If I remember this correctly,
Please.
and I keep in mind I watched this movie this morning to make sure I refresh my brain on this movie because it's been a while since I've seen it more than anything else.
Okay.
So I feel like the initial intention was just, hey, we're going to revitalize these fossil Pokemon because that's the thing that when they get to the defense mechanism more than anything else, they activate it by using the Soul Dew and having Latios in like being like the power of the spear or the weird mechanism. Like those two are basically the power on making this thing work. And I felt like the initial intention was, hey, we're gonna revitalize these, get these legendary Pokemon, and take it back to Giovanni. But then I believe Oakley's the one that gets in the machine, right? Or is it Annie?
Yeah, Annie's kind of the one who's like, oh, I don't know about this.
Yes. So Oakley's the one that is in the machine more than anything else. And I guess as soon as she sees, oh wait, I have all this power. She gets so like drunk with power, realizing, oh wait, I could capture the city in iron bars of the most gorgeous, elaborate designs more than anything else. I could control the water more than anything else. I am an ultimate god. Is that seem about right?
When you say it like that, Annie and Oakley come off as kind of dumb.
Oh, extremely dumb more than anything else. Like I would actually more say ignorant more than anything else. Because obviously they were smart with their intention. Their intention was we're getting these legendary Pokemon, we're taking it back to Giovanni, and we're looking good. It was the fact that once Annie kind of got a little bit too, or Oakley, one of the spies, once they got a little bit too drunk with power more than anything else, their intentions kind of became a little different because that's not something that they planned for. They're just like, okay, we're gonna start the Pokemon, and that's wait, this look like the freaking hacker movie from like 1990s or something like that.
Yeah, because we all know that's how hacking actually works.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, but so they get the bars go up, and sadly, the rest of Ash, Pikachu, and Latias make it out, but Brock and Macy are like, oh, we can't come. And they send their Pokemon out to help. And then Brock decides, okay, now I'm going to climb the fence. Why didn't you do that earlier?
Thank you, because that was my biggest, most frustrating moment more than anything else. Because obviously, the reason why the bars were set up, more or less, was because, the person that was in the machine was like, yeah, I'm going to make sure that no one stops us from completing our plan more than anything else. But they only did the bare minimum way it came to. If they really wanted to capture the people in there, whatnot, the bar should have been 20 feet in the air or something, or 50 feet in the air more than anything else. But they get Misty and Brock first off look useless because they're like, oh, I can't Brock more than anything else. It's like, oh, I can't bend these bars. They're metal bars that are strong for some reason more than anything else. All right, I will send my Pokemon to help out Ash with this. Screw this, I'm just gonna climb like it's nothing.
Yeah, and we skipped one little minor nitpick for me.
Okay.
Ash and Pikachu are running through the town looking for Bianca, I want to say. They come across a hopscotch area, hopscotch written all over the ground like a drawing.
And they
They
don't
don't
play
hop.
hopscotch.
No, no,
How
no.
dare they? How dare where's
It's
the
like a fruit stand. You have to hit it.
how dare they not let their inner child run free
Yeah,
and play hopscotch for a quick second?
well, they're good. Well, he's going to be an inner child for about 50 more years, so
Yeah,
who
you know,
knows?
he's got a lot more time to make up for it more than anything
Yeah,
else.
so Ash and Latias get chased by an Aerodactyl, and Latias defends it with some power. Well, no, Pikachu has to do something. Pikachu uses Thunderbolt.
I also, sorry, I forgot to mention like another nitpick that we had earlier or whatnot. So when we had our initial like introduction to Latios and Latias in that garden or whatnot, Pikachu's obviously goes instantly into defense mode and tries to attack it with thunderbolts, and none of the thunderbolts hit. But yet, whenever we have the spies come in with their Pokemon, they hit those things like bullseye immediately, more than anything else. Is Pikachu really not as goated as we all thought that Pikachu is?
No, this was Charizard's. This was Charizard's show for a good bit.
Yeah, you got a point. But even then, now, like you have Pikachu going up against this legendary Pokemon more than anything else. Huh, I wonder how it's going to turn out. Actually, surprisingly well.
Well, it was before he learned Iron Tail, so it's yeah.
Ah, yeah, you got a point. I will give you that one. I will
Yeah.
definitely give you that one.
Anyways, the Pokemon Brock and Misty send out fight off Kabutops, and Annie starts to go, huh, maybe this isn't such a good idea, which honestly, like, serious point aside, I kind of wish seen this earlier. Like, maybe Oakley runs off, and the kid, like, drops his ice cream or something, and Annie, like, buys him another one or cheers him up to show maybe Annie's not as bad as we thought.
Yeah, some little hint of like, you know, even though that these are Team Rocket essentially or whatnot, you know, they're still human at the end of the day. They're not just mindless goons that are here to take down the legendary Pokemon, or at least with one of them.
Or somebody falls and Annie catches them, and Annie's like, look, I'm part of Team Rocket, and I'm trying to get my mission done, but my mission doesn't say anything about killing you.
Yeah, or like even that just a simple fall down is like, be careful where you're watching next time. Like making it seem like, you know, hey, they're being harsh, but also like, you know, I could have killed that person. But you know what? Just they're not doing anything. Just let
Yeah.
them walk.
Yeah, but Latias uses a powerful attack to stop Aerodactyl. Once again, why didn't you use that earlier? But,
Right.
okay. Hey, Ash, they get to where everybody is, and they free Bianca and Lorenzo, and then decide.
Hold on. You forgot a very important part as well.
Wait,
As well as well as like after they take care of the two legendaries, like attacking them thanks to the help of Misty and Brock's Pokemon more than anything else, they get to a point where they're running up to the museum. However, Oakley, the one in the machine or whatnot, decides, oh no, I'm not letting you get in here more than anything else, and creates this weird like water mesh trap or whatnot that looks insane. I gotta notice, like when the water comes through the streets and then encapsulates all three of them and like starts to choke them out more than anything else. But that was before Latias uses its power to basically just tell the water, gone, you're gone, you're banned, get out of here.
Why? For further question, why was Latias us dragging Ash? Why not just have Ash right on top of Latias? That seems like it would
That's
make
what I
sense.
was thinking. Like, don't get me wrong, it was cool to have the visual of like Latias doing the Totodile, like, you know, going through the streets like beforehand or whatnot. But like, how old is this Latias? Like that's a good question to start off with, because obviously, like, because it was emphasized earlier that whenever the original Latios had died in order to save the town, these two were like the orphan children Pokemon more than anything else, and that's how the grandfather knew them because they were a baby at the time. How old are these Pokemon, and should they not have known at this point, like, hey, let's help these people out? Because that's kind of what we were, you know, that's kind of our thing.
No, it wasn't a yes or no question, but I'm just saying no.
No. I got what you were getting for that one.
So, and they have to save Latios because this machine is hurting Latios, which which is which is exactly why Ash decides to body check it.
Yeah, well,
Every time, no. Every movie, he body checks something. It never works.
it
It
never
never, and
works.
he keeps doing it.
Has there, okay, movies
Well,
aside, has there ever been a moment, even in the show itself, where body checking does something effective?
yes, but he had help. He had somebody else, his friend Morrison. But they were in a trap. There was just steel bars, and they both knocked it over. It's not a mechanism that's called a defense mechanism, and he decides, let me just sack it.
Yeah, let me just spear this thing and see what the fuck happens more than anything else. I mean, and this is I will give credit to this. At least that was, at least Pikachu tried the Thunderbolt first and saw that it failed. But also, like, why is the next best thing? Okay, well, if electrical energy doesn't work, how about physical energy?
Yeah.
But that being said, the thing that actually makes it work is again the Latias. You want to emphasize that as well?
No, no, body checking? No. Apparently, that's a little too sophisticated. It uses another powerful attack, which they never actually say what the powerful attack is, at least in the
They
version I
never.
saw.
They
But
never.
it's a legendary Pokemon. It frees Latios. Oakley is okay, unfortunately, and Misty and Brock show up. They're like, "Hey, you guys are good, right?"
Hey, we're here.
And everything looks fine, but they look at the soul dew that's in the mechanism, and it's dark,
Yeah.
and he goes, "Oh, it's all black," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, we see where it is. And this, I will say, keep in mind, this entire thing is happening while Bianca and Lorenzo had gone to the museum, which, by the way, they went to the museum like with no defense whatsoever. Like they just came in being like, "Hey, our words can stop them," and then they get captured and put into a spider web more than anything else. But the instant that Annie is going for the soul dew, Lorenzo looks up, belt at the top of his lung, "Don't touch that!" And it's already a little too late. And he touches it, and all of a sudden, it just disintegrates. It's just explosion.
And it's like, "Oh no! Oh, a giant tsunami's gonna wipe," and it sucks up all the water from the town, but it also sends it back in the form of a tsunami.
Yes, which is, you know what? After that point or whatnot, you have to just look at yourself and be like, why does a city exist in the first place if that's the threat of a gem in a fountain? Why do we exist? That's the only thing that's keeping us alive.
I, I At this point, I just cut my losses and be like, "Screw it! I lived a life. We're done."
Like, move out to the Pokemon equivalent of like Kansas or something like that, where you don't have to worry about giant bodies of water, okay?
Yeah. So after Bronson Reed shows up and hits a tsunami, they all think to themselves, "Oh no! Oh, what are we gonna do?" And they eat because they're called the Eon Pokémon. They fly off to try and they fly off and they stop the tsunami relatively easily.
Yeah, with the giant mystical orb sphere power that they've used to basically the get out of jail free card of this entire film.
Yeah, but it doesn't end completely like that.
No.
Latias is fine. Everything she looks around and she's like, "Oh, okay, we saved the town." Latios is a different story though.
Yeah, Latios is looking a little bit more you can kind of see clearly how things are going for Latios.
Yeah, thanks, and they do a good job of at least implying that if it hadn't been for all it went through, thanks to Annie and Oakley, everything would have been turned out fine. But Latios has lose too much of its energy, and like its father, it's too much. Latios dies, and it's the one of the few permanent deaths we get in the Pokemon anime.
Yeah, which is extremely rare. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like the fact that that's the permanent death at the end of this movie, which is, I mean, I get why they went with this route more than anything else. Kind of the parallels of like obviously their father to what they had to do, and again, without that sacrifice, the town that they are currently in, Altamar, would not exist.
Then again, it's not like it matters because the second the bars start going and everything goes back to normal, everybody steps out of their house like, oh, what's going on? So everybody effectively slept
I
through that.
I which you would think, especially with like Pokemon screeching at the top of their lungs more than anything else, someone would be out like, "Hey, shut the fuck up! I'm trying to sleep." Now,
Yo,
but
Latias, shut it. That's
Can,
it. I'm
can,
getting my gun.
can I also say the one thing I couldn't help but laugh about more than anything else, because one of the final scenes that we get before, we get closer to the ending or whatnot, is we see the pterodactyls like flying around with like the woman coming up being like, oh, what in the world? But then like because of obviously the sacrifice that Latios made, the pterodactyls magically becomes a fossil again and goes back into the place in the floor, which I for me personally, I'm thinking to myself, no, if that was like 10% more realistic, it would turn into the fossil and land right on someone's house, like more than anything else, crashing through the window.
We have confirmed that there are cameras everywhere. It would be oh, I'd be suing everybody. My mom's a
Oh,
lawyer,
yeah.
dude.
Exactly. No, it's one of those like, look, I have the proof right here. They don't even have to have the cameras. Yeah, can you confirm that the fossil absolutely destroyed my house, destroyed your house? The proof is right here. Look at the skull that's staring right at me.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is where some Pokemon pull up and save Latias, and they're like, "Oh, what happened with Latios?" And they confirm that Latios has since passed on. Is the light that's currently in the sky, and it's sad, but they don't milk it for very long compared to other deaths. Like they milk it for a couple seconds, and they're like, "Oh, well." The spirit of Latios will live on in the Soul Dew or something. I
Yeah,
think they
well,
could have milked this a little bit longer.
they could have, but I do appreciate the way that they kind of did it more than anything, especially with the fact that they had Latias have that basically one last like spiritual, connection vision or whatnot with Latios, and showing that that light was not just like singular light and gone. It was a light that just can't tend to ascend more and more till we actually saw the Earth. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, is this the first time we've ever had Pokemon in space?
At this point, yes, and also Misty refers to it as Earth. So, well, I mean, what else would it have been? But
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
base. Yeah, you might be right on that. That said, another Soul Dew is created. The water returns and washes away the Team Rocket trio they did nothing wrong this.
They did nothing. All they did was they wanted to, like, they were trying to enjoy that. They were trying to enjoy their vacation for once in a while, Like
Yeah,
they had no idea that they probably had no. Well, they probably had an idea that Ash was going to be there because why would they be there in the
they
first
didn't
place?
even try stealing Pikachu. They were
They
just
didn't even try once.
Anyways, and this is where a little bit of an evil part of me comes out. I will fully admit, like,
Mm.
if people jump in the comment section for me on this one, I won't even blame you for it. So, well, Bianca, heartfelt says very heartfelt. She says, "Thank you, Latios, for everything. Please stay with us forever." As she kind of holds onto the soul dew, and I went, "Well, he can't stay with you forever because he's dead."
Yeah. No, honestly, that yeah, yeah. Please stay with us forever. And then imagine if they had been like totally dark with it more than anything else. Please stay with us forever. Next thing you know, the soul dude just cracks immediately right
She
there.
just dropped. Oops.
like,
Please
bro,
stay with
like,
us forever. Oh, you'll all be joining me soon in hell. Oh
yeah, we know Brock does not make it to heaven with lust alone.
no, 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 not particularly. So, oh, Ash. So everything works out, and Ash and friends are like, "Hey, we're leaving." Like, no heartfelt. Like, "Hey, thanks." So it's just like, "Where's Bianca?" "Oh, she's not here right now." It's like, "Oh, well, tell her we said bye. We're getting out of here while we still can."
Which is probably the smartest thing they've done in the entire film.
Yeah.
Again, you were literally looking at a tsunami, basically eliminating your existence in one form or fashion. The most I would do is just be like, let me get out of here.
We'll talk about that more in a little bit. But they play a rendition of the song "You and Me and Pokemon," a version I don't remember playing. But that said, I still sang the whole thing. I'm like, oh no, I love this song. This song is great.
It was probably specifically for this film more than anything else that they did for something a little bit more uh something a little bit more fitting for the environment that they are in.
Yeah, and we see Annie and Oakley in prison, and they're reading a book. And oddly enough, the villain from the second
Whoa,
movie is in that book. Which
whoa! You missed.
no, I don't think I'm missing anything. No.
Are you not missing the fact because you had said hey that they're getting out there. Oh, Bianca is not even there, but then maybe Bianca. I don't know what it is. I know
It
this
was
is
it wasn't Bianca. I can pretty safely say it wasn't. But
yeah.
why don't you take the reins from here while I hate myself for not bringing my headache medicine.
No, I know. Trust me, I hate the fact that I'm the one that's in telling this tale, but someone has to say it at one point. So obviously after the initial conversation with Lorenzo, who is working on his gondolas and being like, hey, is Bianca here? No, I think Bianca's at the store or whatnot. They start making their way out on the motorboat, which thank God they were on a motorboat and instead of using a gondola to get out. Um, or they're Pokemon. That would make more sense. But who am I to speak about what makes sense in the Pokemon world? Um, but as they're going away, we see what we think is either Bianca, we think is Bianca, start, in the distance, like running along the bridges with like something in her hand more than anything else. Ash is like, hey, pull over real quickly. Motorboat pulls over, he gets off, Bianca runs to Ash, hands a piece of paper rolled up or whatnot, and then leans in. You can't really tell what's happening, but a lot of people could probably just infer that it was a kiss, maybe. Who knows? It was either kiss or like she was whispering something. You can't really tell because the angle is like weird and yeah. I at least interpret it as maybe she was whispering something, but also I would not doubt Pokemon for having a Pokemon kiss Ash for some reason.
Okay, so in all honesty, I think it's me being completely serious. I think it's actually a very touching moment. It's like,
It
hey,
is.
it didn't work out like we wanted, but thank you for everything. Everything. I interpret it as just a friendly kiss on the cheek.
That's
It's
what I'm
just
thinking.
it's just the fans who make things weird. Like, oh, it's a Pokemon. It's like if a Pokemon walked up and licked you on the face, like you wouldn't think of anything weird. It's like, oh, it's just being affectionate. Who cares?
Yeah. And I mean, like, consider the fact that this is meant to be like, the like Italian culture or whatnot. Like, it's not foreign for like the Italian culture to have like the simple kiss on the cheek as kind of a hey, thank you or pleasure to meet you kind of thing. So
Yeah,
that makes sense.
it's just the fan base who either celebrate this or get up in arms. It's like, no, it shouldn't have been Latias. It should have been Serena. She wasn't even invented. Serena wasn't even created yet, but
Yeah,
people still find ways of saying
go
it.
go back home, Pokemon fans. You're drunk.
No, they don't need. They need to go home and touch grass
Yeah,
wherever.
you know what? That's a good point
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. The only now I will say something that did ruin this for me is when Misty and Brock are kind of reacting to it, and Brock's like, "Wait, is that Bianca or is that Latia?" And Brock's like, "I don't know, but either way, I'm jealous." I'm like, "Wait, so if it was Latias, you're jealous? Okay, now you're making it a little weird."
Stay away from your Pokemon, Brock.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, I got nothing. But they run
I,
up.
I will also say it was also really cool that after Bianca had ran away or whatnot, Ash unrolls the paper and finds a very lovely sketch of Ash and Pikachu. As an art person, I think it's fantastic art.
Did Latias draw that?
Who knows? I mean, either way, it's really well done and very impressive. Either way.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're getting to this is okay. So, like I said, we see Andy and Oakley in prison. I'm actually glad that they're like actually suffering for their crimes.
Yeah.
But there's one little part of the movie that during the credits that
Would you like to
yeah.
elaborate?
Do you know what I'm addressing here?
I think I do, but I would like for you to address
You
it.
know the company that helped make this movie was Miramax, correct?
Oh no.
Yeah, in the credits, there's a special line that says, "Special thanks to Harvey Weinstein." Nope, not touching that.
We're not touching that. Not
No,
that this is there's a place and time for that kind of stuff. This is not the place, and this is definitely not the time.
yeah, but overall, this movie was kind of dumb.
I mean, yes, there are certainly moments that you can look at it and you can find the flaws in it. Like I said, like we established and whatnot, the fact that this was a very Ash centric movie more than anything else, when you had incredible characters Misty and Brock on the sidelines and Team Rocket not doing a lot more than they could have, there could have been so much potential for this to be a lot more of a fun collaborative movie. That being said, it was clear that even though Ash was the focus protagonist wise, they were definitely emphasizing a lot more when it comes to Latios and Latias and like their impact and like the society that they have set forth.
And
And
then
they did
body checking everything.
and body checking everything, obviously. But regardless, like I appreciate the fact that that was like the major emphasis and like how special these Pokemon were to this community compared to like say like the worldwide circumstances that could have happened when it came to like Mew in the first movie. Like the fact that this seemed like a more toned down and like one where you want to obviously root for the Pokemon at the end of the day.
Yeah, that it's both a blessing and a curse because I like when you bring it up like that. I like that it's like, oh, it's a little more toned down. But on the other hand, it's also kind of like, huh, they're only really going after this town. Not that that's
Yeah.
a good thing, but it's like
Well,
if this
well,
town happens to disappear, like is it really the worst thing in the world?
well, let's also take a second to realize that, when the tsunami did happen, there could have been some like one-off island that probably gotten, massacred before yeah, we probably should have checked to see if there was any like significant islands surrounding Alamart and make sure that, they still have people or living beings or an island.
Yeah, but just I don't. Okay, the visuals are nice, the music's good.
Yes.
The characters for the most part are pretty likable, but there's like I said, the Latios and Latias don't feel that legendary compared to other Pokemon. Team Rocket, it is a little disheartening how Team Rocket have nothing to do with other members. With oh, these are other Team Rocket members. Let's see what they're. Oh no, they don't interact that much.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite Pokemon movie, but who knows?
No.
I might rewatch it again in 2 months and be like, dude, this is the best movie ever because that's how this is what this movie does to me.
At the end of the day, I felt like this one actually like did the job it was aiming for, which was provide a fun, entertaining, little farce for again 75, 80 minutes or whatnot, giving you a kind of look outside of, standard circumstances and giving you a fun movie about like the importance of the community or the importance of like basically siblings at the end of the day because Latios and Latias were like really close and like seeing how close the town seemed to be around them and such like it was I wasn't going into this thinking I was gonna be watching like Goodfellas or some masterpiece, but at the same time flaws aside, it was enjoyable. This was a fun film, and I'd be more than happy to watch this one again.
Yeah, I think just for me, like the last 20 or 30 minutes is where I actually started getting invested. If this movie, I think if this movie was a little bit longer, I'd actually walk away thinking it was pretty damn good. But for now,
Yes.
I'm just kind of like, in all honesty, horrible? No. Bad? Maybe a little bit. Maybe just a little bit.
If I was to give this one a grade like point blank, I'd give it anywhere between a B minus to a C plus. It's one of those like yeah.
Yeah, maybe. There are far worse Pokemon movies out there.
Hmm.
We'll get to that at some point. But speaking of Ash, apparently there was an actual reason why he was supposed to be the center of attention.
Really, what is that
Yeah,
reason?
yeah. Apparently they actually decided at some point that Ash was going to catch a Latias, and this was going to be the start of that. But they pulled back because of two reasons. One, they didn't want to establish too many of the movies as canon, which to an extent I kind of understand.
Yeah.
But also they didn't want to do it because then Ash would have a Latias, and that would steal spotlight from a good chunk of his Pokemon. And considering there are times where most of his team gets neglected for like one or two ones on his team, I kind of understand that.
I mean, to be fair, in this one alone, we only saw two of Ash's Pokemon, and that was Pikachu and Totodile. I mean,
Yeah.
how many Pokemon did he have at this point when this movie came out?
Misty held up his Pokebelt. There were like five Pokeballs on there. So
Yeah, exactly. You would think that there'd be at least one other one highlighted that this movie was given like 10 more minutes.
yeah, and that's why people hated aiming to be a Pokemon master so much because Ash encounters a Latias and everyone's like he needs to catch it. I'm just like I don't know. They do such an uneven job of writing how Ash's team is. I don't need it. I especially don't need him to catch a Latias right before he retires for the foreseeable future.
And at the very least, you don't need to capture the Latias. That's part of the reason why your town is not the new Atlantis, 10,000 leagues under the sea.
And I'd be like, wait, who's protecting this town now if Ash has Latias? Fair enough. Fair enough.
Who's protecting this town? Oh no.
The town just sinks with Ash but they all leave. I'm like, huh, this movie got a lot darker now that I start to think about it.
I mean, like if they were okay, this is also another thing. Look, as
Oh no.
gorgeous as that, beautiful little private park area was more than anything else, for a fact that the Soul Dew is the main reason why your town is even existing in the first place. Why do you have it in a fountain where it's so easy to reach in and grab, aside from like the standard little like prongs or whatnot? Put a metal grate over that thing, freaking.
Put the fences there.
But the fence is there. Like, like make it to where make it to where you have to at least have a fire type Pokemon to get in that thing, or at least one that spews out acid. Like make it a challenge. Don't just be like, oh yeah, and here's this beautiful fountain with a lovely stone in the middle that if you grab it, we're gone.
Yoink. Yeah, but like I said, this movie's more fun now that we're talking about. But I apparently in Japan, this is one of the most popular Pokemon movies, and maybe
Really?
the difference between versions has something to do with it. But this isn't one of my favorite movies. It's not one of my lesser favorites per se, but like if we were to pick a random Pokemon movie to watch, this probably wouldn't crack it. Not horrible, just could have been better.
Like it's one of those like if for some reason you're doing like a list of like okay we're gonna watch like we're gonna watch like 5 random Pokemon movies like one after another or whatnot. This could easily be one that's like either number 3 or number 4 in that list more than anything else. Like it's not the one that you're most anticipating for, but it's not the one you want to like end your little watch party with more than anything else. Like a nice little refresher before like the really good one at the end.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, that said, the next movie, well, the next movie is going to be pretty interesting because the next one is Pokemon and Jirachi Wishmaker.
Oh, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. It's been a while since I've seen that film, but if you're looking for someone to hop on to talk about that stuff, I would love to talk about this film.
I would, but with all due respect, you're not the only person I'm thinking about hiring for that one.
Oh, wait, I was supposed to be hired?
Yeah, we're paying you pocket change.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's fair. That's more than I get paid for most podcast appearances. So there you go.
Yeah. That said, I remember enjoying Jirachi Wishmaker. It's been years at this point, but I do remember enjoying it.
I do remember some again like same with you. It's been a while since I watched it. I'm definitely gonna need a little refresher watch before I do see it. I've only seen it once though, so
That's fine.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
it'll be the 6th Pokemon movie, and then 7, 8, 10, 11. We can keep. I can keep going at that point.
I will at least go ahead and say after Jirachi, if I remember correctly, 7 is Destiny Deoxys.
That's correct.
You better have me on for that one because as much as I love Heroes, Destiny Deoxys is like the one I hold nearest and dearest to me.
Oddly enough, it's the movie that every time I watch it, I remember liking it, but then I forget it instantly. So
No,
I'm gonna
that's
need your
valid.
help for that.
I will be more than happy to help you out with that one.
And then the 8th movie is Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. No notes. You guys know how I feel about that one. That's the 8th movie. Then the 10th movie is Rise of Darkrai, which I've only seen once and I don't remember that much about it. But
Yeah, Destiny Deoxys was the last one I saw. I'll be blunt. So
yeah, but I don't think I'm skipping or missing any Pokemon movies, so we should be good.
yeah, no, there's I don't think there's any important ones in the chronology
No.
that anyone needs to be concerned about more than anything else.
No. It's just those are the next ones. I'm not forgetting anything. But yeah, do we have anything else to say about this?
For the people at home that are curious, like, yeah, give this a watch. I think this is like, if nothing else, like, there are elements that you're definitely gonna love about it, and as you heard from us, there's elements that's gonna like frustrate you about it if you're a major Pokemon person. But you know, in general, it's a good, fun, quick little watch more than anything else. Give it a shot. It's worth it.
Sure. Yeah, sure. But before we wrap things up, Nathan, thank you for joining me. Thank you. I have missed recording stuff. I appreciate you being around.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on here and chat. It's always fun to hop on here and just talk about stuff that I at least have a vague knowledge about more than anything else. Like, I do appreciate it.
Yeah, and please support Nathan at a PostModern Art Podcast on Blue Sky, any podcast app you're into. Buy the merch, support anything except Mr. Moneybags.
Hey.
if I see him, it's on site.
Hey, what do you have against the what do you have against the magical Muppet money bags that you?
He knows what he did.
No, but thank you. For those that want more proper plugs more than anything else, you can follow me on Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok at PostMod Art Pod, or go to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you find fantastic podcasts, and look up PostModern Art Podcast. You'll find I have several incredible episodes. I may have also had, a host of, the Anime Egotists on the podcast at one point years ago.
I'll remember that.
Of course you don't. But yeah, no. If you're interested in conversations with artists talking about like the stuff that they do and the art that they devote themselves to or whatnot, the PostModern Art Podcast is surely the place you should go.
Absolutely. And thanks again. Now, friends, what do you guys think of Pokemon Heroes? Was Nathan a little too easy on it? Was I a little too hard on it? Let us know how you feel. And at Latias kissing aside, please just give us your honest thoughts.
And let us know that like how much more the movie would have been improved if Team Rocket had been more involved.
Exactly. Hey, but be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Alex.
And I've been Nathan.
And you have been listening to Anime Egotists. Good night, and peace easy.